have a question here that was actually posted on a comment to a previous video where I talked about how you don't want to tie yourself to the power elite or the fallen beings by engaging in their investment schemes. And so the question is, but artificial financial instruments such as stocks usually are tied to a corporation that's providing a service or a product. So by investing in that corporation, you would be contributing in a very small portion perhaps to the production process, thus getting a reward from it. Why is that bad karma? And what I was saying is that as spiritual people, we want to, if we have money to invest, we want to invest in something that provides a product or service instead of this artificial financial economy that's created on top of the what you might call the natural economy. And so I understand that in its original form, stocks were a way for a company to raise capital that they could then invest in production. And so it's true that if you buy stocks for that reason, let's say it's a startup company, it can be you're contributing to something that provides a service or product, and therefore you're contributing to the overall growth of the economy. But the problem is that today, when you look at the stock market, the bigger established companies, there is a complete disconnect between the actual value of the company and the stock price. Because ideally, the price of a stock should be related to a company's performance. In other words, you buy, as an investor, you're buying the stock because you're expecting that the company is going to make a profit and you'll get a dividend on the stock. So you are making money from the dividend. But today, many stocks are traded in a way that has nothing to do with the dividend that the investors expect to get out of it. They expect that the stock price is going to continue to rise so that you can sell it with a higher profit than when you bought it. In other words, it's pure speculation. And you see some company stocks that are traded at many times higher than they should be if you looked at the actual profit of the company. And this is because there are speculators who are artificially bidding up the stock price. And today there are these huge hedge funds that are run by the power elite, the billionaires. They have so much money that they can artificially inflate a company's stock price. So they can, if they start buying a certain stock, then normal investors will say, oh, this stock is going up, I'm going to buy it too. And then everybody jumps in. And then when the stock has gone up to whatever level the power elite thinks it is the highest it will go, they start selling gradually. And now they are making a huge profit off of having bought the stock low. And then of course the stock goes down, and many of these medium investors, they lose money on it. But the big guys, they made money on it. So what I'm saying is, this is a completely artificial economy. It's actually what Saint Germain has called a gambling economy, because it's based on this gambling mindset that you are gambling that prices are going to go up and they're going to continue to go up so you can make a profit on it by selling it. But it is essentially a pyramid scheme, because the stock price will only go up if there are more and more investors that put money into the stock market. And if that changes and people start not putting money in or pulling their money out, then the stock market can crash, and who's going to lose money? Mostly the ordinary investors. So that's why if you are investing in this, you are buying stock based on speculation, you're tying yourself karmically into this power elite. And that's not really what you want to do if you're a spiritual person. So there are many other aspects of this. I mean, the economy is a big, complicated topic, of course, and I'm not an economist. But there are some fairly simple basics. You just look at the stock price. I mean, I remember, this was many years ago, I think it was back in the 90s when there was a big fall in the Dow Jones index. And I was watching the news, and here was this news commentator on one of the major television networks who said that, yes, the stock market lost, I can't remember, let's say $20 billion in one day. And I'm not really an expert on stocks, but I could see that this man either knowingly was telling a lie or he didn't understand how the stock market works. Because you can, of course, go into the stock market on any given day and you can say, okay, here's Apple Computer. Apple Computer has however many million of stocks that they have sold. And the price of the stock is, say, $100. So therefore you can say, this is what Apple is worth. 10 million stocks times $100, whatever it is. That's what Apple Computer is worth, or rather the stock. But you see, a stock does not have a fixed value. A stock is only worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. And in a market that's driven by speculation, this can change momentarily. It can change like that, where one day there are many people that are willing to pay $100 for an Apple share, and the next day nobody's willing to pay even $10 because the perception has changed. It's all based on perception, and the perception is, can we make money on it or not? So then you have all of this that you can actually bet against the stock prices falling, so you can make money even when the stock price is going down. And that's because, again, the big people who are able to invest in this and do this. So you see how what they have created is an entirely artificial economy that isn't related to actually providing a product or service that benefits people. This is an artificial economy that only benefits the very, very rich investors who have that kind of money. And how do they make the money? How do the power elite, how do they make money on the stock market? By taking money from normal people who are investing either their retirement money or private money, thinking they can make a profit. So everybody is caught up in this, hoping they can make a profit. But the result is, of course, that money is taken away from the middle class and concentrated in the hands of a few people at the top. And I personally wouldn't want to be tied into this. So even if I had money to invest, which I don't, I wouldn't invest in this kind of thing, even if I could see I could make a short-term profit on it. Because, you know, Jesus in the New Testament talks about you can have your reward in heaven or you can have your reward on earth. And if you're seeking to get a reward here on earth by making a lot of money and having money, why do you call yourself a spiritual person? I mean, I don't care about a reward on earth. I want my reward in heaven after I ascend. And that's why everything I do is geared towards that. It's not geared towards having some short-term advantage down here on earth. So I'm not saying this is the only way to look at investments. I'm not saying that you can't be a spiritual person and do wise investments, but I'm definitely saying that you have to really know what you're doing so that you can evaluate, am I tying myself to the power elite, most of whom are fallen beings, and do I really think this is going to advance my spiritual growth and my prospects for my ascension?